sight singing. So good morning, everyone. It's time for more sight singing practice. And I've got to have my fireworks when we turn on the sight singing practice. So here goes. Woo! Yes. Okay. For our warm up this morning, a couple of things. First of all, I left you with an assignment on Monday, and the assignment was practice sight singing every day. And hopefully you've been able to do that. I mean, 5-10 minutes a day, that's all you need. But if you'll do it on a regular and consistent basis, you will go a long, long way towards upgrading your music literacy. And singing, the sight singing or the singing part of music literacy has so much influence on everything we do in music. So let's look at the two melodies. These are actual AP melodies from past tests. I don't know what year they were or anything like that, but nevertheless, they are actual melodies. And so they are characteristic of what will be on the AP exam this year also. So let's look at the first one. And don't forget to look at the clefs. This one is in treble clef, obviously, and it has two sharps in the key signature. That means it's either going to be D major or B minor, okay? And if I look to the end of the melody, the last note, that dotted quarter note, is a D. And you look back to the beginning, it starts on a D. Common practice music often starts on the tonic. It often ends on the tonic. And so this is doing what's very common in music of the common practice period. Next, I would take a look at the rhythm and notice that these patterns, we've seen them all before. We saw them in the compound duple, as this is, compound duple. These are common patterns, especially in 6/8. The sight singing melodies are normally going to be 4 measures. They could be 8 measures, for instance, if it was in 3/4. It partly has to do with the scoring of these melodies. And if you look, we've got 4 measures, and the scoring goes according to half measures. So each half measure you get correct, both in pitch and rhythm, you score 1 point. So that would be 8 points, 8 half measures. And then there's something called the flow point, okay? The flow point means that you have to start and not hesitate. You can't restart. And if you go from beginning to end without hesitating or restarting, then you get the flow point, which makes 9 points for each melody in the sight singing. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the rhythm. So I would do the rhythm in 2 beats per measure. So it would be like this: 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Be sure you hang on to that last note and hold it out, because if you don't hold it long enough, or the reverse, if you held it too long, then you wouldn't get the point for that particular half measure. So be sure you hold out that last note, its correct value, okay? Then I always say to my students, see if you can practice fairly fast. Like I look for this one, and I look in, oh, well, I know that ending, re, so, do. I've seen that ending many times before. And I look for places where I might have problems with larger intervals. This only has skips of thirds, has 1 in the first measure, 1 in the second measure, 1 in the third measure. And then of course it has that 4th from re up to so, and the 5th from so down to do. So I tell the students to practice fast, look for places where you might have problems, practice those places, fill in, and then sing slower. So while there are 2 beats to the measure in 6/8 time, I always say probably you're going to want to subdivide. Give yourself some time so you won't hesitate. You'll know what the next note is and you'll have enough time to see what's coming up. So I gave the solfege and the scale degree numbers for this particular melody. And so I'll give in treble clef, here's my D, and it would go like this, solfege first. Do, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, mi, fa, la, fa, mi, re, do, re, so, do. Okay, and then scale degrees. 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 3, 4, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 5, 1. And notice on the melody that it has these phrase markings. Try and make the breath between the phrase, the two parts of the melody so that you have the phrase markings taking into account all of those notes and all of the next notes, maybe on one breath, okay? Here's the second melody. So this one is in bass clef. And it looks to me like 3 flats. There's a C at the end. It starts on a C. So this has got to be C minor. The 3 flats would indicate either E flat major or C minor. I'm looking through this one and I also see two accidentals. The one at the very end, the last measure, if C is tonic, that looks like the 7th scale degree and it's been raised 1/2 step from the key signature. So this is the 7th scale degree in the key of C minor, and it's been raised a 1/2 step to make leading tone, okay? The other one in the 3rd measure is a chromatic tone, and it is the C, D, E, E flat, raised 3rd scale degree in this particular key. And so it's been raised a 1/2 step. And then I'm looking at other things from the 1st measure to the 2nd measure. That might be an interval that we would fill in to be sure that we know exactly what the pitches of the interval are. And if you fill in just by singing a scale from the bottom note to the top note, or vice versa, the top note down to the bottom note, and you know, every line, every space. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6th, okay? And you would be able to figure that out. And then this is in simple quadruple meter. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So that 3rd beat of the 3rd measure, 1, 2, 3, E, and would be 4/16 notes, 4/16 notes, you know, but it's a dotted quarter note, which is 3 of them. So it's 3, E, and 4, 3, 4, and 1, 2, okay. And then we would look at the solfege. And so this looks like I would practice do, mi, fa, sol, mi, do, mi, fa, sol, mi, la, 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 mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And you know, you can sing it like I'm singing melodic. It's do, di, da, da, ba, me. I sang it too high just a minute ago, but now I've got it. Mi, do, me, fa, sol, me, fa, sol, la, ti, do, me, do, do. And that's also tonic. So, you know, you can get back up there good. Okay. And then everything else looks stepwise, except for that 3rd where it goes to le, sol, le, fa, sol in the 4th beat of the 3rd measure to the downbeat of the last measure. And then, so practice before you try and sing it. And then here I gave it to you in Do minor, in La minor, and in scale degrees. Scale degrees probably don't work as well when there are chromatic pitches, but you know, it'll still work. You just have to realize in minor that that third is lower and that the sixth and seventh in the key signature are, you know, not raised to La and T, but they're Le and Te, okay? And in Do minor, and then in La minor, you might even have fewer alterations in the syllables in La minor. My thing, and I'll talk about that more in just a minute, why I like Do minor other than La minor all of the time. La minor is great, but Do minor is too. So then I'm going to give myself a C down here in bass clef. Okay, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, me, fa, sol, me, do, te, le, sol, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, le, fa, sol, ti, do. Okay, and whatever system you're going to choose to use, and I hope you will use a system, you could do it like this. And if you have perfect pitch, probably this is the way you will do it. But I love the way the systems help you set up these relationships, like from Do to Me to Fa, and so on. So I would go, you could sing it like this. Da, 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 da. So, but preferably try and use your system and sing your system. And you can write the system under the notes on the AP exam. Okay, here's La minor. La, do, re, mi, do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, fa, re, mi, si, ti. Woo. Hopefully my voice, it's 9 in the morning here in Dallas, still early for me. I used to teach 0 hour, and I had to get up like really early to try and get my voice going in time for 0 hour, which met at 8 a.m. Woo! Oh, well. Now I don't teach until the afternoon, which is good. My singing voice should be going by then. Hopefully yours will be. Don't forget to warm up before that 45 minutes of the AP test starts, because if your voice isn't working, you might have a problem doing the sight singing. So warm up. Finally, scale degrees. 1, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 7, 1. It'll work, but you have to know where the half steps and whole steps are. You have to know whole, half, whole, half, whole for the whole step and half step arrangement of the natural minor scale, and then perhaps you can get by using that system. All right. So those were our 2 that we had. At the end of this lesson, I'm going to give you some more to practice for next time. But let's go on and talk about ending melodic patterns. This is practice and strategies today. Now, last time I did it like this. Re, ti, do, fa, ti, do, mi, re, do, so, fi, so, do, re, so, do, la, ti, do, re, ti, do. In other words, I sang the patterns and I just used the same key all of the time. I didn't pay attention to the keys that they were actually written in. Now let's think about doing them in the right key. So number 1, 3 flats in the key signature. This is minor. This is C minor. So I'm going to play the tonic. There's C. And now I'm going to relate the other notes to tonic. So re, ti, do. Number 2, that's in D major. Fa, ti, do. Number 3, D major still. Mi, re, do. Number 4, E minor. So, fi, so, do. Number 5, D minor, 1 flat. Re, so, do. Number 6 is E flat major, and it's in bass clef. La, ti, do. Number 7, E minor again. Re, ti, do. So you see, you can go through these ending melodic patterns, give yourself do. Hopefully you have a keyboard, or you can use a virtual keyboard at home. Press the tonic note and then see if you can hear the relating notes for these endings. And you can do actually the same for the ones in beginning melodic patterns, okay? So this one, you have to do these in the right keys, by the way. You can't, I actually, no, I do the patterns also using the same do, but let's do the key. So that first one, 4 flats, that would be A flat major or F minor. It starts on F up here. So that one is do, me, sol, fa, me, la, do, mi, re, do. Okay. And then number 2 would be B flat. And that's this B flat down here. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol. And don't forget these outline tonic and dominant, they use, they fill in with passing tones, neighbor tones. This one has do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol. So there's 1, 3, 5. And so it's the tonic triad, but with passing tones and an upper neighbor tone there. Number 3, we're in D minor, treble clef. Do, ti, do, re, me, la, si, la, ti, do. Okay, whichever you like will work, okay? Here's D major in bass clef. Oh, wow, that's the wrong one. Here it is, D. So we're going do, mi, re, ti, do, okay? And D minor again, number 5. Do, re, me, so, la, ti, do, mi. 1, 2, 3, 5. So you can employ your systems in these beginning melodic patterns and the ending ones that we looked at. Give yourself a pitch, but always make it the tonic pitch, and try and do everything else by making those relationships happen for yourself. It will really help your ability to hear, your ability to sing. I love a statement that was made, I think Mrs. Foote gave this statement out a few lessons ago, if I remember correctly. And this comes from a book called Music in Theory and Practice by Bruce Benward. He was the original author. And then there was Marilyn Saker. There's another author in the more recent editions of that book. But here's what Bruce Benward said. He talked about the seeing ear and the hearing eye. The seeing ear and the hearing eye. So the seeing ear, we want to hear and be able to visualize in our minds what we're hearing, and then be able to put that down, write that down. We're not having melodic or harmonic dictation on the AP test this year, but that is a great skill that is required to be a real music literate. Secondly, the hearing eye, okay? So now we're looking at music like this, and we have to hear what it sounds like by looking at it, rather than just going to the keyboard and going, you know, just playing it out like, you know, like that. Because I can play the notes for myself, but much better is when you can acquire the skill of being able to look at something, hear it in your mind, and be able to sing it back uh, like we're doing and making those relationships. Okay, next, I'm going to give you a review of the systems I've been talking about, because I felt like on Monday I went pretty fast through this. And so I want to really nail this down for you. So major scales, no problem. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And I'm sure everybody in the world probably has heard about this particular do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm not sure they always know how to use it, obviously, because they're not musically literate. But in our case, they've probably, you've probably heard it and been able to use it, even if you use scale degree numbers to sight sing with. You've also known about the solfege system. Okay, here's the thing for me. I'm want to use do minor when something is all in minor. If it's not relative keys, where like here in Texas, our university interscholastically contest, choir contest, for example, we will start in a major key and it will go to the relative minor key and then return back to the major key. So the best way to do that is to use La minor, because La minor moves from one key to the relative key seamlessly. You don't have to change the syllables or anything. If you use that system with relative keys, it works fantastic. But if you've got a piece that's all in minor, it's not changing key or anything like that, then do minor for me makes all the sense, because do and so are always the same, re and fa are always the same. Mi from the major scale changes a half step lower to me, as you can see there. And then the upper sixth and seventh scale degrees, le and te, are in the key signature. So that's a natural minor scale. That's why it's called natural minor. Sometimes it's called pure minor. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, le, te, do, te, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So that's the notes that are given by the key signature, the notes that are diatonic in the key. But then we change, because I'll give you a little history lesson real quick. You know, with the advent of tonal music coming out of a system that was called the modal system, where we had these different modes with a different arrangement of half steps and whole steps, which Mrs. Foote spoke with you about in Unit 8 of the CED, Course and Exam Description. They wanted that whole step to become a half step so that it would confirm tonic better. So when it goes like this, do, re, mi, fa, sol, le, te, do, te, do, te, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do, they definitely like ti, do. Sorry, my voice is kind of giving out up there. I better lower the range. Ti, do, rather than te, do. Okay, so now we have what is called harmonic minor. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, le, ti, do, ti, ti, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. It's right in my break this morning. Le, ti, do, ti, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Great. Now we've really been able to confirm tonic, that 5-1, because T is in the sol T re chord, the 5 chord. And they made it into a major chord to make 5-1, really confirm tonic, okay? But here's what happened. All of a sudden now, between the 6th and 7th scale degree, we have a kink in the melody almost. It's an augmented second, and they did not like that. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ni, do. They didn't like that augmented second right there. So they decided, okay, well, we're going to smooth the melody out. And so we're going to raise the 6th scale degree 1/2 step also from le to la. The 7th is from te to ti. Okay. And so now we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. And now that melody is smoothed out more. But sol, la, ti, do, mi, sol, mi, do. Oh my goodness, am I in major or am I in minor? Well, that's the question. So they made sure that you knew as the listener that you were still in a minor key. And so when you probably studied the melodic form of minor earlier this year, you made a descending side to the melodic minor scale and returned the 6th and 7th degrees to their key signature, to the natural minor form. So now it would go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, te, le, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So that the composer would always make sure, yes, we're in minor, but we're going to use that la and ti to smooth out the melody in certain places, because in a linear sense, they didn't use augmented intervals. The augmented second might appear in a harmonic sense, but never in a linear sense. Never is a poor choice of words. Probably somewhere you'll find one, but typically, most commonly, they didn't use augmented seconds in a linear sense. Okay, so let's go on. So there's lots to be said pro for do minor, but there's also pro for la minor. And a lot of choir teachers probably use this when they're sight singing in their choral rehearsals. I know I did as a choir director, and especially when I was, preparing for contests, it came in really, really handy. Of course, I sang all year long with my choirs, sight sing. That was another thing. I sight sang every day with my choir, and they were musically literate. So hopefully you do that in your choirs as well, or at least you sight sing for, many days throughout the year. Okay, so the natural minor scale in la minor, okay, very simple, takes the key signature, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Like starting on the 6th scale degree of its major, of its major, the relative major, which is E flat major in this particular case. And C would be the 6th scale degree, as you can see there. I didn't put the numbers in. Excuse me. Then harmonic minor. Now we're going to raise that 7th scale degree. La, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la, si, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Okay, got that augmented second there. So we want to smooth it out, and we're going to raise the 6th scale degree also. So now it's fi rather than fa. We had si rather than sol in the harmonic minor. Here's melodic minor. La, ti, do, re, mi, fi, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. So la minor, very good system as well. I like do minor because it just do and so sound do and so, and la and mi are, I don't know, if I'm not in major to minor in changing a key, then it's la and mi just are harder for me to think of as do and so. But it's a good system also. And then of course we've got the scale degree system and we've got letter names. We eventually have to make the system get to letter names. Okay, and so we've got about 15 minutes. Let's see what we can practice for the rest of this particular session. Okay, I want to show you this. This is from a program called Vocal Connections. It's by Ruth Whitlock. Dr. Whitlock was a professor at TCU and a master teacher. She has lots of students who became choir directors, band directors, orchestra directors, and she taught music education there. Unfortunately, she's passed on. She's not with us any longer, but she left us a legacy of great teaching. And here was one of them. She made these grids, and you can see that they look like triads, you know, like do and mi, so there, and so mi, do. And I love these because I use these at the beginning of the year, and I sometimes use them this time of the year also, because they help put some listening and hearing as well as singing on automatic. I don't think any of my students walk into the sight singing part of the AP exam and can't sing the tonic triad, for example, of the melody that they're going to sing, that they're analyzing and going to sing. So this sounds like this. This is call and response. This is a male singer, and I'll play a female singer for you later that does these grids. So sing call and response with the singer.
Lesson 5, major, chord built on do.
Do, mi,
Do, mi,
do, mi, so,
do, mi, so,
so, mi,
so, mi,
so, mi, do,
so, mi, do,
do, do,
do, do,
do, so,
do, so,
so, mi, do,
so, mi, do,
do, so, do,
do, so, do,
mi, so, do,
mi, so, do,
do, so, do,
do, so, do,
do, so, mi,
do, so, mi,
mi, do, so,
mi, do, so,
so, mi, do,
so, mi, do,
so, do,
so, do,
so, do, so,
so, do, so,
so, do, so,
so, do, so,
so, mi, do,
so, mi, do,
do, mi, so, mi, do.
do, mi, so, mi, do. Whoa, those high notes are a little too much for me this morning. Can't get it going up there. But at any rate, do you see how if you would practice this, you can begin to put do, mi, right on automatic. Do, mi, so, so, mi, and gives you ascending, descending ways of looking at this. Then I put it into notation because that's the next step. You want to do this in notation. It's the same. I put it in D major. Okay, so it goes like this. Same exercise.
Lesson 5, major,
We
chord
won't sing it all the
built
way
on
through,
do.
but now look at the notes.
Do, mi,
Do, mi,
do, mi, so,
do, mi, so,
so, mi,
so, mi,
so, mi, do,
so, mi, do.
do,
Uh-oh,
do,
that's where I'm going to quit.
do, so.
Okay, so it gives you a chance to see it notated. Now I used it with numbers, the same exercise, and the thing that's happening, I think, to the brain is that we're singing the system, but we're pairing it with the actual notation of the notes. And so when we sing the system, we visually see what it looks like, okay? And so this one, same one. Do, mi, so, 5, 3, 1. Now with numbers. 1, 1. 1, 5, 5, 3, 1, and so on. Okay. And finally, with note names, letter names. So it would be the same do, it would be do, D, F sharp, and then so on, D, F sharp, A. And I mean, you have to sing F sharp, you know, like so. But now we sing letter names. And so this is the whole system through. And finally, do, mi, 1, 3, do, mi, so, mi, do, do, and so on. And now it's almost like a piece in a way, but it's just those patterns that we're trying to learn. Seeing, ear, hearing, eye. Okay. And then the wonderful thing about movable do is you can shift keys. So it automatically moves, the relationships stay the same. Here it is in F major. So now we're do, mi, so, mi, do. Okay. Here we are in G major. Do, mi, so, and so on. And if you'll hook up visual with your ear, with your system, your music literacy is going to increase by leaps and bounds, okay? If it hasn't already, because you've already been employing a system. But you can practice these between now and the AP test, and I kid you not, you will not walk into that sight singing and not be able to sing do, mi, do, whatever key you're in. Do, mi, do, or do, me, do. Okay. Now here's another one to try, and this one is in sorry, this one is in minor, and it's a little bit more complicated. This is lesson 24 from that same program. But let's take a listen to this, and this is a female singer now. So the men, you sing down the octave from her, like you do ladies singing up the octave from the male singer. Okay, here we go.
Lesson 24, minor. Chords built on la, re, and mi with stepwise motion. La, ti, do.
La, ti, do.
Ra, do, ti.
Re, do, ti.
Ti, ra, mi.
Ti, re, mi.
Mi, re, do.
Mi, re, do.
La, re, fa.
La, re, fa.
Fa, mi, re.
Fa, mi, re.
Mi, fi, si.
Mi, fi, si.
La, mi, la.
La, mi, la.
Re, fa, re.
Re, fa, re.
Mi, re, mi.
Mi, re, mi.
Mi, si, ti.
Mi, si, ti.
Mi, si, la.
Mi, si, la.
La, so, fa.
La, so, fa.
So, fa, mi.
So, fa, mi.
Fa, mi, re.
Fa, mi, re.
Mi, re, do, ti, la.
Mi, re, do, ti, la. Okay. Then, of course, I like to do it in do minor. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, fa, sol, fa, mi, do, fa, le, sol, fa. And I'll stop before I can't get up to those higher notes at this time of the morning. Okay. And then, of course, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, and so on. Okay. And so you pick your system and try and practice this one. If you use that sound file, the thing about it is she's going to be singing la minor. And if you're trying to do do minor, actually in this program, you can switch channels. And I couldn't do that on the lesson this morning because I'd have to go out of the PowerPoint and change the setting. But you can change the channel and just have the accompaniment, or you can just do it without an accompaniment or and practice it the way you're going to practice on the AP test for the melody you're going to sing. Okay, so here it is in notation. So all three systems and just straight through without the call and response. And this one is in D minor. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re. One, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Okay. And then, so those are, oh, I played okay, and I did it a little slower. So you can practice with that, like that, okay? Then, here are some, I like to do melodies with accompaniment. I know I'm kind of running out of time here, I think, but let's do these. And, you know, here's the way I do them with my classes. I will have them write out the rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, and so on. Then I will have them write out the solfege. This one, they give you do. Do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, sol, mi, sol, re. And that way they've got the system written out and they can read it. And you can write this out on your AP test so that you can do exactly what they were doing. I didn't write it in for you, but we'll see if we can sing this one. And I like to have accompaniments, especially, you know, at the beginning of the year in January, February, because it helps us put a melody in a context and helps us stay with a particular tempo and rhythm and so on. So here is this first one. This is in the key of E major, and there'll be a count off for you and it'll play do.
1,
Do,
ready, begin.
do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, sol, mi, sol, re. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, mi, re, do. So it puts it in the context of that little accompaniment. And some of that cheesy music comes into play in these exercises too. Number 2 here is my favorite one. And I tell you, when I'm at home in my room, I have a Bose speaker, and on the repeat, you can see that this one repeats. I crank it up as loud as it'll go and have a lot of fun. So here it comes. This starts on do. It's working on major sixths, do up to la, okay? And it goes like this.
1, 2, ready, begin.
Go, do, do, la, sol, woo! Do, do, la, sol, sol, fa, mi, re. Mi, re. Get louder. Do, do, la, sol, woo! Do, do, la, sol, sol, fa, mi, re. Mi, re, do. And do, do, louder. Do, do, la, sol, sol, fa, mi, re. Woo! Mi, re. Do, do, la, sol. Do, do, la, sol, sol, fa, mi, re. Yeah, mi, re, do. All right. Oh, I go crazy when I'm in my classroom with that because I'm dancing around and having a good time. But it works because we're probably, I had a student walk in this year and they were singing that tune from the day before. I love that. And they were singing it in solfege. How about that? Okay. So we didn't have time to practice this morning, but I put it in here because I want you to practice it. Try it doing this way. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, sol, re, mi, fa, sol, la, re, la. So fill it in and then go back and go do, mi, sol, do, sol, and then go back and go do, sol, re, la, mi, ti, and just sing the fifths. Great thing to practice in preparation for the AP test. Okay, and so I'm going to leave you with 4 melodies that I want you to try and practice and apply a system to them. And we will review these on Friday morning when we get started at the beginning. And Friday morning, we're going to be talking about, there went my timer. We're going to be talking about part writing and writing melodies. So I've had a good time being with you this morning. Sorry we started a little bit late maybe, but thanks for watching. Be sure to do those sight singing questions for next time, and I'll see you on Friday. Mrs. Foote will be with you tomorrow morning. The sun is going to be shining in Dallas today. Hope it's a great day where you are. Bye now.
Sight singing.
Did I go